Life on Earth has always been a story of accidents. Every living thing that exists today carries the shadow of chance, shaped by small mistakes that somehow worked. Evolution is not a straight path or a perfect design. It is a series of unpredictable experiments, where failure is the rule and survival the rare exception. Yet among the endless extinctions and lost lineages, there are creatures that seem to defy all logic. Being so strange and improbable that their very existence challenges our understanding of how life evolves. They are the evolutionary accidents that should never have survived, and yet somehow, they did. The story begins hundreds of millions of years ago in a silent ocean that covered most of the planet. The world then was alien, without birdsong, without forests, without anything that walked. Life existed only in water, and it was small, soft, and fragile. Yet even here, chaos ruled. Some early creatures developed bodies that made no sense, limbs that twisted the wrong way, eyes on stalks, shells that grew backward. They were experiments of nature, strange designs that should have failed, and yet a few of them found ways to thrive. Among them was a creature called Opabinia, a five-eyed animal that swam through Cambrian seas nearly 500 million years ago. It looked like a mistake, a dream of evolution gone wrong. Its body was segmented like a worm, with a fan-like tail and a long proboscis ending in claws. Scientists once thought it was a joke when it was first reconstructed, but Opabinia survived by doing what others could not. It hunted in the mud, using its claw to reach prey that others missed. It was not strong or fast, but it was different, and difference meant survival. Nearby swam Anomalocaris, another impossible being. It had no true legs or mouth as we understand them, only rotating plates that crushed prey into pulp. Its body moved like an underwater flame, undulating through ancient seas. For millions of years, it dominated the ocean, the first great predator on Earth. It thrived not because it was perfect, but because it filled a space no one else could. When extinction finally came, it left behind no descendants, but its shape echoed in the predators that followed. Evolution does not always preserve the strongest. It preserves what works, even for a while. As life spread across the planet, the accidents multiplied. Some plants developed poison that turned out to be protection. Some fish grew lungs to survive drying ponds, accidentally inventing the first steps toward life on land. The lungfish still exists today, a living fossil that can drown in water if it cannot breathe air. It embodies the strange flexibility of life, an organism caught between worlds, yet perfectly balanced within its contradiction. When animals finally crawled onto land, the evolutionary story became even stranger. Amphibians with sprawling limbs began to walk, but their bodies were still bound to water. In this uncertain new world, one of the strangest creatures appeared, the Dimetrodon. It looked like a reptile but was not quite one, a relative of mammals long before mammals existed. Its enormous sail, stretched across its back like a fin on land, had no clear purpose. Some believe it helped regulate temperature, others think it was for display, but its real power was survival. For millions of years, Dimetrodon ruled the Earth, an accident that became an empire. And then came extinction. The Permian world collapsed under fire and suffocation, wiping out nearly everything that lived. Yet somehow, a few odd survivors endured. Among them were the ancestors of mammals, small burrowing creatures that hid in shadows while the great reptiles vanished. They had no claws like the dinosaurs, no armor, no venom. What they had was warm blood, the ability to regulate their own temperature when the world froze and burned. It was a mistake of physiology that became the foundation of endurance. From those survivors, mammals rose, and with them came new accidents of design. Whales, once land-dwelling creatures, returned to the sea, reshaping their limbs into fins and their nostrils into blowholes. The bat, a small mammal of the night, took to the skies, turning fingers into wings. Even the platypus defied all logic, laying eggs yet nursing its young, sensing electricity through its bill. When it was first described to scientists, they believed it was fake, a hoax sewn together from other animals. But nature often looks impossible when viewed through the lens of reason. The platypus is proof that evolution's mistakes can lead to perfection. Reptiles, too, carried their share of accidents. In the age of dinosaurs, one lineage gave rise to the pterosaurs, flying reptiles with bones so light they could snap under pressure. Their wings were built not from feathers but from stretched membranes of skin. They grew to sizes that should not have been possible, wingspans larger than small airplanes. And yet they soared for millions of years, filling the skies before birds even existed. When the Great Extinction came, it ended their reign, but the idea of flight remained. Evolution borrowed their failure and tried again. Some creatures survived not through brilliance, but through stubbornness. The horseshoe crab, almost unchanged for 400 million years, still crawls across ocean floors today. Its blue blood carries properties that protect it from infection, an accidental gift that now safeguards modern medicine. The coelacanth, a fish thought extinct for 60 million years, was found alive in the deep sea, moving slowly through darkness as if time had forgotten it. These are the quiet survivors, living fossils that outlasted empires of life by refusing to change. Insects tell the same story. The cockroach has existed in nearly its modern form since the time of the dinosaurs. It can survive radiation, starvation, and even decapitation for a time. It has no elegance or intelligence, only resilience. Evolution did not intend to make it beautiful, only unstoppable. The same can be said for the crocodile, a design so efficient it has barely changed in 200 million years. Its body is an equation solved long ago, perfect in its brutality. But sometimes, survival itself is the accident. On islands scattered across the world, evolution took strange turns. Birds lost the ability to fly. Lizards became giants or dwarfs. In Madagascar, lemurs filled the roles of animals that never reached the island. On isolated continents, nature experimented without restraint, creating forms that made no sense elsewhere. Some of these oddities endured for millions of years. Others vanished with the arrival of change. The world remembers them only through fossils and echoes. Even extinction can be accidental. When the asteroid struck at the end of the Cretaceous, it did not target the dinosaurs specifically. It was blind chance, a moment of cosmic misfortune. Yet that single event reshaped the entire future of life. The great reptiles fell, and the small, warm-blooded mammals inherited a world remade by disaster. Out of randomness came opportunity, and from that opportunity came intelligence. Humanity itself is the ultimate accident. Our species should not have survived. For most of history, we teetered on the edge of extinction. A few thousand individuals, scattered and vulnerable, hunted by beasts stronger and faster, but the same mistakes that defined our ancestors saved us. The oversized brain that demanded too much energy became the source of language and thought. The weak body that required tools created technology. The lack of natural defenses forced cooperation and empathy. We are the product of flaws that turn to strengths. Every breath we take is an echo of ancient accidents that refuse to die. The fossil record is filled with evidence of these near-impossible survivors. Trilobites that persisted through mass extinctions. Ammonites that evolved countless shell shapes before vanishing. Mammoths and mastodons that walked icy continents long after their world began to thaw. Some lineages ended quietly, others spectacularly, but all of them tell the same story. Survival is never guaranteed. Evolution rewards adaptability, but it also indulges chaos. Sometimes a mutation that seems useless in one era becomes salvation in the next. Modern science continues to uncover how thin the line between extinction and endurance truly is. DNA studies reveal that many species alive today pass through narrow genetic bottlenecks, nearly wiped out before recovering. The cheetah, the panda, even humans carry traces of those ancient close calls. Evolution's history is not one of steady progress, but of collapse and recovery, disaster and chance. Life does not move forward in a straight line. It stumbles, falls, and rises again, changed by every accident along the way. Some accidents continue to shape us now. Viruses that once threatened to destroy life are now found hidden in our own genome, relics of ancient infections that merged with our DNA. The same mistakes that spread disease once gave rise to immunity and diversity. Even the boundaries between species are not fixed, but fluid. Hybrids, mutations, and spontaneous adaptations continue to appear, reminding us that nature's creativity is endless, and its sense of order non-existent. To look back across deep time is to see that perfection has never been evolution's goal. The most successful survivors are often the strangest. From the lungfish that breathes air, to the tardigrade that survives the vacuum of space, life has always found ways to endure by breaking its own rules. What should not exist often does. What should fail often thrives. The creatures that should not have survived still walk among us, swim beneath us, and fly above. They are reminders that chaos, not control, built the world we know. Every breath, every heartbeat, every species that crawled from the sea to the sky is the result of uncountable mistakes that somehow worked. Life is not a story of perfection, but of persistence. And the accidents that refused to die became the foundation for everything that followed. In the end, the real wonder of evolution is not in its order, but in its disorder. The improbable survivors, the genetic experiments that succeeded against all odds, the designs that seemed broken yet endured, they are proof that the universe does not follow a script. It improvises, it adapts, it creates beauty from failure. And if the history of life teaches us anything, it is that existence itself is the greatest accident of all.